Alright, thanks for joining the recording here today. Thanks for viewing this video, sorry. So I'm just going to do a quick overview of Baldur's Gate 3. I personally quite like this game. I know it's in early access. I know it's been out for a while. Got about 42 hours into it. I've played the first portion, or the portion that you can play. I played it through a couple of times. I'm currently playing through it with a Tiefling Warlock. I decided to go with that. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to pretend to do a new game. So we're going to pretend to do a new game. We're not actually going to do a new game. We are only going to get into it. I'm going to skip the game so I can go into the character creation screen and sort of review the game. So the first thing to know about this game is that it is an RPG, very D&D-esque, Dungeons and Dragons-esque game. Right now, eventually we will be able to play as one of the main characters. So Astarion, Lae'zel, Bill, Shadowheart, Gale, all these people. Well, eventually we'll be able to click one of those and use those as our origin character. Most people, however, most people will probably do custom. I prefer custom characters myself. Always have, probably always will. But this is the character creation screen. It's randomized, I believe, when it starts, so you can get whatever you want to. You can invite up to 3 friends with you, so you and 3 friends can play. It's a group of 4 to adventure around, which is I quite like. The graphics of this game are really great. I find them extremely impressive. I really like them. So I'm going to show you a little bit about this. So as you can see, you have your abilities over here. This gives you an overview of what the current character that you have, all the options you selected that you have right here. So you can select your origin. So right now we're on Acolyte. If I select Charlatan, this proficiencies change. I move over as to Criminal. My proficiencies are changing as I select different backgrounds. I really like the background idea. It's very, again, it's basically the same as Dungeons and Dragons. If you ever played that, I personally have never played a game of Dungeons and Dragons, but I read a lot of Dungeon Masters of Reddit, and so I know exactly what people are talking about when they talk about Dungeons and Dragons, method-wise and things like that. Some of the story I don't, but yeah, this game is really nice. It's got great customer characterization. So if you go to race, you can choose from various different races. So you have the elf and the half-elf and the human, which are kind of there. Tiefling, which is sort of the devilkin. I personally love the Tiefling. I also like that as I spin this character, my character's tail swings in the background. It's just fun. I don't know why I like that happening, but I do. The Githyanki, which is what Lae'zel is, the character. A halfling, which is basically a hobbit, if you're a Lord of the Rings fan, and so you have halflings. You have the drow, which are like dark elves, essentially. And then you have dwarves, which are a little taller than halflings, but definitely shorter than humans and elves. Each race, primary race, so tiefling or elf or human, have sub races. Humans don't have sub races, at least not yet. I don't know if they're going to add them. But you have half elves. You have a high half elf, wood half elf, drow half elf. Then you have elves, high elf, wood elf, or the drow. And the drow have sub races as well. You have the wolfsworn or the seldry right now. I don't know if they're going to add anything else to that. But each one has each sub race of your primary race has special abilities and special specifics. So the Loftsworn Drow and the Seldarin Drow. Let's take a look. I can't remember what changes. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So most of these don't change much. I think some of the only stuff that changes is, like, see for the dwarves, the gold dwarf has +1 wisdom down here. Shield dwarves have +2 strength, and so on. Tieflings are very different. Asmodeus tieflings and Mephistopheles tieflings are very similar in that they have intelligence and charisma. The cantrips that they start out with are different. Zariel is different as well. So these are the different sub-races. You can change their appearance, you can change their voice.
Let's hope the locals are friendly.
And the sex of your character, so you make a male or female. But one of the cool things about this game is you can pretty much do really anything you want to. So, I mean, you want a female character with... Let's see, where'd it go? One of my favorites. There we go. Female tiefling with full Gandalf beard. Make the beard white. Go for it. You want to do that? You can do that. There you go. There you go. You can do that. You can change their eye color as well. You change your skin color, eye color. Um, Realistically, you can pretty much do just about anything you want to. Change their specifics. As far as class goes, right now we have 7 classes that are playable. Druid is relatively new to the mix. They are very much mirroring of their D&D classes. So you have the Saloon, the Shar, and the Tempest. It's here, Bane, Helm, Miracle, Ilmater, Mistra, Ogma, Kelimvor, Ball, Moradin. Whew. I always forget how many of these there are. There we go, back to what we originally had. So yeah, there's a lot of deities. You can do different kinds of, there's life domains, light domains, trickery domains for the clerics. Going into druids, the druids have their specifics. Of course, they have their cantrips and their spells. And then, of course, they have their class features here. And the spells that they have available down here. You can customize those as necessary for your playstyle. So, like for me, I probably would take away the good berry, and I'd probably put something in there like Thunder Wave. I'm very DPS focused, and let the other characters do the healing. Then you have your fighters, of course. You can change your passive skills, so depends on you have your class features. Warlocks, which are great. You can change the subclass, so you have the Fiend subclass, the Great Old One. Those are the only 2 subclasses right now that they have. So you're beholden to a Fiend, or you're beholden to the Great Old One, which is an Eldritch Beings. They are different. So the Fiend has armor of Agathis and arms of Hadar. Going to the Great Old One, they have Dissonant Whispers and Tasha's Sidious Laughter. The Eldritch Blast is pretty much standard for both Warlock classes, and definitely I recommend it because early game it's really powerful. And then at later game you can add stuff to it to make it very, very powerful. It's pretty much always powerful. My first playthrough that I did for this game was with the Wizard. I quite liked that. That was quite fun as well. Of course, you have your cantrips, your spells, total, and then the spells that you have prepared to be able to use. Then you have Rangers, pretty much standard rogue type Rangers. You can do pretty much anything you want, like Rangers, like Legolas style. Then you have your rogues, which are like thieves and stuff. And as these are leveled up, you choose sub features of these classes, sub skills, things like that, that tailor to your play style. You can change your skills. You inherit some from your backgrounds. Some you have to actually choose. Some are inherited skills here. So skills, proficiencies, skills without proficiency, all that good stuff. Then you can change your abilities. So as you can see, this dexterity for the ranger, dexterity is their main item. So right now we have right now we have 15. So if we wanted to, we can alter this up to 15. We can alter any of these up to. Most of these you can alter it up to 15. I think you can only have one skill right now set up to 15. Everything else is kind of everything else is very specific. They do have some restrictions, but I guess it's a good thing that they have some restrictions.
Tell me.
Then this game lets you change. Basically, this is like your love interest in the game, which is quite nice. You can create your own specific love interest, tailor it to however whoever you're interested in, which I think is kind of cool. And so that's kind of a little review of the character creation system, which I think is great. You can change your name, your backgrounds, everything that you have. Everything in this game that you choose, except for maybe your sex, matters. Everything but that matters. That and your name. But your background matters because it helps your proficiencies. Your race matters because tieflings and Githyanki don't like each other. Pretty much no one likes tieflings. No one really likes the drow either. The drow are technically evil. Humans, elves, and half-elves. You'll get some interesting conversation pieces depending on who you choose and who you're talking to, which is quite cool. But everything else, other than appearance and stuff, like appearance sake, doesn't really matter. But like your class, your skills, your proficiencies, they all matter. They're very playstyle specific. You definitely need to make sure that you are min maxing or trying to get your play style down before you start playing, because this is not a game. This is not a game of oh, I really like to play a rogue. Well, you know what? I'm going to do a ranger instead. Now you have to pick one or the other. You can't do both. You really have to try and choose before you get into the game um, as to what you're going to try to play as. So I definitely recommend getting that setup down. As far as gameplay goes, I definitely want to review that a second. It's point and click for a lot of things. You can hotkey some stuff to like the 1, 2, 3 regulars, but it's point and click. Basically, you left click to go places and open things, right click to see more options. It's similar to Divinity Original Sin if you ever played that. Original Sin 2. It's similar to those kinds of games, but as far as that play style goes, normally I'm not into those kinds of games, but Divinity Original Sin 2 and this game, Baldur's Gate 3, are just phenomenal. I totally 100% recommend buying these if you are an RPG player. The amount of things that you can do in this game is awesome. When I first started playing this game, I was unsure of what I was able to do and what I could and could not do. I'd only played Divinity Original Sin 2 before. That was the only game like this that I've ever played. And so I would wholeheartedly recommend checking this game out. When I first started playing, I was fighting a group of people, my group against their group. In game, I was able to shove a dwarf off a ledge and watch them tumble down to the ground below. They only survived with 1 hit point. And I thought that was just the most hilarious thing in the world, because I've never been able to do that in a video game, is just shove a dwarf off a ledge and watch them fall. There are some destructible elements in this game, some walls. You can break most doors with spells and attacks. You can cause nature reactions. Fire catches oil on and makes it explode. Same thing with poison. Fire on water evaporates the water, creates fog. You can electrify the fog. You can electrify the water. Things like that. Those kinds of interactions are very important and they're really necessary, to be honest, to get everything set up and ready to go. So I would definitely recommend utilizing those as well. But I'm going to return the main menu real quick, and let's let you guys see what's going on. So yeah, so like I said, I'm a tiefling warlock. This game really, the story, I'll let you get into later on when you guys want to. But the story is basically you are taken prisoner, then you escape. Sounds familiar, I know, but taken prisoner, you escape. You have to save yourself and then save the world, and it's pretty much your standard RPG trope, RPG genre, story, background stuff. But I mean, it really is a wonderful game, and I thoroughly recommend you getting this game if you're an RPG fan of any kind. If you play Pillars of Eternity, if you play Skyrim, if you play any kind of Elder Scrolls game, really. If you play Fallout games, if you play Dragon Age, anything like that, I thoroughly recommend you get Baldur's Gate 3. You can get it in early access right now. It's perfectly playable in early access. There are some bugs, but they're very few and far between. The only bug I think I've ever encountered was sometimes if you click through dialogue too fast, if you've already played it through and you're just like, yes, I know what you're going to say, click through the dialogue, skip. If you do that too fast, it doesn't quite understand what you're trying to do, and so you'll be stuck in like a dialogue screen without any dialogue going on, and so you'll have to physically click on the character you were talking to previously so you can manually exit out of the dialogue, because you'll be stuck, or you can reload, or you can save and reload, and it usually solves the problem as well. But that's the only bug that I think I've encountered in my entire time playing this game, and I played it through twice. Once as a cleric and once as a wizard. I'm playing it now as a warlock. My next playthrough will be a druid, and just so I can get a feel for how I want it to go. I can pick which class I want to start over once the game fully comes out, and I can play all the way through. You can only play the first act, which is you land on this like first starting location or locale, and that's all you can use. You can only play in that area. But I mean, it's the first 30 hours of the game almost, pretty much. I mean, you can play through it pretty much solidly. With the wizard, the first time I played it, I pretty much investigated everything I could. It took me about 27 hours, I think, 28 hours. The second time I played through it, I didn't really care about min-maxing everything. I just tried to level up as quickly as possible and play through and get to a good stopping point where I could say, okay, I like this class, let's move on. And I didn't play all the way through with that one to the very end. But you can make it all the way to the end of the first act, which is like Act 1 of like a play. You can make it all the way to the end of Act 1 as if you're going to go on to Act 2, the second act of the game. But you just can't quite take that step yet, which is unfortunate. I wish they would add at least that second act, or at least a part of it. I would really love that. But I thoroughly recommend getting this game, especially just for Act 1. I mean, Act 1 itself is really fun and great, and I really thoroughly enjoy it, and I think you guys will too. So hopefully you guys take this video to heart. Hopefully I hit everything you guys are looking at getting into. You definitely need a decent processor and a decent graphics card to play this game. I don't know if you guys can tell, but it is graphic intensive. It's got a lot of light and a lot of lighting effects, a lot of bloom, a lot of terrain situations, a lot of loading situations. I'm playing on an i9 10850K, and then I've got a 3060. However, I was playing on a 1060 originally. On my 1060, I had to have the lowest possible settings, and I had an i5 processor, 7th gen, and a 1060 graphics card, and I had to have the lowest possible settings, and I had tons of hiccups. Loading times were like 7 or 8 or 10 minutes, trying to get from one place to the other, like with loading screens. I mean, they were really long. Then I slowly upgraded, and now it's, as you saw me go from the character creation to the main title screen. It didn't take any time at all. So I definitely recommend getting an upgraded computer, or a beefy computer, or laptop if that's what you prefer. I would always recommend the tower, my personal choice, but if you prefer laptop, then that's totally your prerogative. But I would recommend getting something beefy, at least, with something a little more advanced in processor and graphics card wise. Otherwise, it's going to be very hiccupy. It's going to have a lot of issues getting into and going different places. But yeah, I thoroughly recommend going through and getting this game, playing the first act, get a feel for the game, see if you like it. I know that Steam has a refund policy. I can't remember what the policy is. I think it's 1 hour, or no, what is it? I honestly can't remember what the Steam refund policy is, but I think it's like 14 days, or like an hour of playtime, or something ridiculous, something weird and ridiculous. But what I would recommend is, if you're looking at getting this game and you're just and you think you'll like it but you're not sure, I would recommend getting it, going through, opening up a new game, and just stick with the standard character spread. Just hit venture forth immediately when you get into character creation, and play through the first like 30 minutes of the game. If you don't like it, just Alt F4, or exit the game normally, and then just refund it on Steam if you don't like it. But I think you'll like it. But that's a good way to go about it, because then if you do like it, you can restart the game with the character of your own creation, and get into the game like you really should. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoy this game, and I think you guys will too. So I'll leave it at that, and I'll thank you for watching this video. Please share this video, or comment, tell me what I did in this video that you guys think I should do better. What do I explain? What do I explain well? What do I not explain well? Things like that. That really helps out in both these videos and my professional life as current graduate student. So help me out. Yeah. So thank you guys for taking the time to watch, and hopefully you guys will watch my next one. Thank you.